Friday's mind emission. This will dovetail in with the exercise, but I'm going to raise a point. Sometimes NLP will come up with a very clarifying question or a very clarifying sort. What do you sort by? That was an older term, sorting, how you sorted things. And so from sorting, the idea of meta-programs came about. And meta-programs are basically what we would also call sorting styles, or how one tends to unconsciously, consistently order information and order experience through certain very basic patterns. Like, are you fundamentally moving toward certain experiences? Do you fundamentally move away? Are you fundamentally operating sort of in offense or defense, playing offense or defense in a sense? Sorting style. I'm going to subtly change that idea, and I'm going to dovetail that into and incorporate that into the exercise that we're developing. These things do take some time. So I'm going to change linguistically the question and ask you this instead. What do you think in terms of? And this is a very, very important sociological question. This is a very important general sort of way of asking about people and asking about cultures is what do cultures think in terms of? What do subcultures think in terms of? What do specific family systems think in terms of? What do individuals think in terms of? What does the unconscious mind think in terms of? If you listen to Donald Trump, I think Donald Trump is a very, very interesting character if he is presented in audiobooks, because the voice actors that play Trump are often quite good and that act as Trump's voice. And in one of Trump's books that I got on CD, Trump is saying what did he mainly thought in terms of, his most important sort, what he thought in terms of when he was looking for an employee. And to Trump, the most important thing, the most important term to him was loyalty. He said that was more important to him than any other quality, even energy, intelligence, all those other fundamental good things that people bring to jobs. He said the thing that mattered to him was loyalty. So it's very clear to me, and should be very clear to everyone, that Donald Trump thinks in terms of loyalty. People think in terms of very, very different sorts of things, and often they are unconscious of what they think in terms of. But advertisers and marketers are very busy making themselves conscious of what other people are unconscious of. That's, in many ways, the art of effective advertising, is learning what's unconsciously driving people to make the kind of decisions they do, and how they unconsciously see themselves, and how they unconsciously would like to see themselves. So advertisers realize what people's ideal selves or people's desired selves think in terms of. What would that be a satisfying solution to becoming your idealized or your dreamed of self? Who would that person be? What would that kind of person look like? How would that kind of person fit in the world? People think in terms of many, many different things. And when we're working on the NLP exercises, when we're talking about granularity, when we're talking about truth value, this concept of truth value and granularity, we're in a sense introducing terms into thinking. We're introducing new sorts, new ways of sorting experience and sorting information that may not be immediately familiar to some people. Psychologists do recognize that some people think in terms of revenge fantasies. You know, there are people who are, their unconscious processes are filled with revenge fantasies, and they think a lot about revenge. There are people that think in terms of fairy tales unconsciously. You know, they want to be Prince Charming or Snow White, or those sorts of things. And I'm sure that's why there is a lot of adult attraction to what appear to be children's tales, because those very much tap into the areas that we feel unconsciously in terms of, or what we would like to believe that we feel unconsciously in terms of. So one person, may think in terms of precision. Another person may think in terms of power. And another person may think in terms of dominance. Power and dominance are related, but they're not exactly the same thing. But I know some people that have neurotic needs for social dominance, absolutely neurotic needs. Very successful people who I think would probably be as successful if they didn't have this neurotic compulsion to dominate. They would probably find more elegant, attractive, and ultimately more valuable and more powerful ways of being if they weren't so run by the need to dominate. There are people who think in terms of masochistic self-injury and humiliation and putting themselves in painful and embarrassing scenarios where they can get some kind of masochistic payoff, and the work of Edmund Bergler is all about that, although Bergler has got his theories of other things like homosexuality are just absolutely preposterous, and I've kind of discredited Bergler, but Bergler really knows his way around masochism and masochistic impulses and self-defeating impulses. So when we're working with the NLP, sort of the NLP's toolbox, the toolkit, we are asking people to start becoming aware of what they're thinking in terms of, but not necessarily in terms of content, but also in terms of process. So what are your process terms? And if we can change how one processes that information. So, if one's image of, say, one's idealized image that one's thinking in terms of is Snow White, and we change the process way the mind is processing that. So what if we put Snow White in some completely different, change the background? Absolutely. We might find that the background of the image around Snow White or Barbie or Ken or G.I. Joe or whoever is kind of running you as sort of an early internalized image, and we find those early internalized images, and we say change the granularity, which may be through pixelation, maybe through a whole lot of things. Or we change the truth value. We change the idea of the truth value, of how true that governing term is for you, and say we start progressively working down 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, down, reducing the gradient of truth value. We might say a normal swish pattern doesn't work all that well. And I think the swish pattern often fails because it doesn't work in graded steps. You're looking for a complete shoom, one-step, one-to-one swish. I think, and in my experience, that the swish pattern is often incompetent. It doesn't do what it is supposed to do because it doesn't work in adequately finely chunked steps of transition from 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, or adequately graded steps of, say, granularity. So from some very finely grained, precisely represented thing, and you can reduce its precision 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 until slowly let the thing become a much less compelling, less granular type of image, and then we can start replacing that with other terms of thought. So all you people out there that are think in terms of swish patterns, and think in terms of think in terms of the presentation styles that people are teaching swish patterns. We can do much finer work, much deeper work, much more powerful work, and you can learn it for free. So let me ask you a question. Why pay a ton of money to learn a less effective pattern when you can get a more effective pattern absolutely free right here?